What's up? Alright, so you should have already watched the interface and software video. And now we're going to get into actually making parts. And the parts that I want you guys to use are the parts that you guys came up with when we were doing that 5-block combo. There are several parts that are very good parts to start with. Gives you the simple process. We can use the line. We can use the rectangle tool. So there's quite a few things that we can use. And then I'm also going to talk to you guys about the additive and the subtractive method, along with the line and sketching. Neither one is better than the other. It's really preference. Once you get comfortable as far as sketching, I do believe that the line tool is one of those tools that speeds up the process and kind of helps you out a little bit. However, don't be afraid to use the additive and the subtractive method creating sketches. And I'll show you what I mean here in just a minute. Alright, so the first one is this U. I think most of us should have made this, and I think it's a good one to start with. And so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and, so getting started, I've already selected the part, and now I'm ready to create a sketch. So remember that home page where you had part, assembly, and drawing, those three across, just double click on part, and you should come to this screen that looks like this. I'm going to go ahead and hit start a sketch. Remember, red means that is the plane that I'm going to select. So this is the XZ. This one is the YZ. And this one is the XY. Remember that XY plane is that front face plane. And I really do believe that that will be the best plane for you guys to sketch on most of the time. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select it. And now I'm ready to roll. So the first thing is that U. What I would like you guys to do is I would like you guys to think of every block or each individual block as 3/4 of an inch, or otherwise 0.75 in decimal form. And you guys are like, well, how do we get it in decimal form? Well, if you simply take 3/4 of an inch, 3/4, if you take 3 divided by 4, you should get 0.75. It's an easy way to transition from a fraction into a decimal. All right. So if you remember that U was 3 blocks long, right? 3 blocks next to each other, side by side. So if I take, and you can see I already have the math done, but if I take 0.75 times 3, I should get 2.25. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the line tool. And here you see I have that green snap to dot. You want to make sure you get that. That is snapping to the origin or the point of origin. I'm going to click, and I'm going to start to drag out. Two things I want you to notice. One, the 0 degrees, and the blue box showing the 0.521 inches. Now right now I could numerically type that out, or I could continue going all the way out until I get to 2.25. So obviously typing in 2.25 numerically is a faster way to go. But the thing is now you can see that my sketch is off the screen. Don't panic. Just come up here to your navigation cube and hit the front, and it'll recenter your object. Okay, so now I'm going to go up. Now if I was to just go ahead and rock this out and sketch, I can go ahead and do that and rock this out and get to my numerical value. But there's a couple things that I need to look at. The first thing is check out the 90-degree angle. When we're sketching this, almost everything in our cube is going to be at 90 degree or 0 degrees depending on which direction we're going, but you really need to make sure you're paying attention to the degrees. 0, 90, 180, making sure that we're in increments of 90 or back to 0. So now I'm going up. This was 2 blocks tall. So if we do 0.75 times 2 or 0.75 plus 0.75, that should give us 1.5. Enter. And again, it's off the screen. Okay. So now I'm going to go making sure I'm at 90. All right, 90-degree angle from this last sketch. And I'm going to go 0.75 across. Okay. Now I'm going to show you guys the way of just being able to use the mouse and click. So I'm going down 1 block. So that should be 0.75. There it is. And I'm at 90-degree angle. Click. Make sure I'm at 90-degree angle, 0.75, click. And now this one, what I really want you guys to see here is how I can use lines to make sure that I am even or symmetrical, or making sure that I have the correct measurements. And here you can see that I came out to 0.75. If you look at my dot, you should see that there's a line extending across to the right to the object that I've already created. Now, you have to be careful because when those lines come into play, it will create constraints. So like equal to, adjacent to, those types of things. Right now I'm fine with that constraint being set because it's not going to mess up my geometry. But moving forward to more complex parts, it could create an issue. Alright, so really make sure and pay attention to lines. And we'll talk about that at a later date. Depending on what class you're in, we may get to it a little bit sooner than another. Alright, so again, making sure I'm at 90-degree angle. I have my line telling me I'm straight across from that. Select it. Make sure I'm at 90 degree. It snaps to that grid. I'm good. You can see that line telling me, hey, that my coincident constraint is in there. And then you can see the green, meaning I am to snap to. And now I've got that part and it's created. All right, so now I'm ready to finish the sketch. Select the home on the navigation cube. Now I'm ready to extrude. And now you can see that my sketch is now turned into a 3D sketch by extruding it. The extrude menu has come up. There's lots of different things here. Okay, so profiles, singles. We can definitely do some different types of extrusions. And here you can see the direction of the extrusion. Alright, I'm cool with this direction, but the dimension is wrong. Remember I said we're using 3/4 of an inch or 0.75, so that would be 0.75 by 0.75 in the height, the depth, and the width. So we're going to go 0.75, and now I have my part. Okay, you might notice that I have shadow and I have a reflection going on here. If you go to view, here you have a shadow, so you can hit this drop down and then see it go away. There's my shadow again. I think it just gives the a part some nice definition and it gives you a nice look. The other one is reflection. So if I turn off the reflection, turn it back on. I have a couple lights turned on, so it gives it some light. All right, so we're talking about shading. All right, so it gives you an idea when we're talking about that crosshatch shading, that kind of thing. And then visual style. This one you probably should. I definitely would like to see you guys select the shaded with edges. When that's selected, you'll have this little black lines really showing the edges and giving you some shade. All right, so I think that's a really good idea to do. Okay. All right, so there's the first part. Hopefully that gives you guys a good start on using the line and numerically typing in those values. Okay. The next video will be over the additive and subtractive method. I do want you guys to watch that video, so please watch all 3 videos before you really get into playing and trying it out, alright? Alright, y'all. Happy sketching, man. Alright. Let me know if you have any questions. Later.